Welcome to the second episode of the Hotseat campaign. I am playing as the Haradrim tribes, and I am terribly sorry about the first episode having no sound. That has been remedied for this one, as you can no doubt hear. And in today's episode, we're actually going to get some battles. And I will go over my plan this time, but I saw some questions in the comments section about the general's bodyguards. Kareem has none other than Serpent Bladesman, my best infantry unit. That is my best shielded infantry unit in terms of defense stats and attack stats. And Utbah is Ashari Shadows. As you can see in the last episode, we lost a lot of money very, very fast. And yeah, it was an interesting decision to do such a thing. My plan, as you are no doubt aware by this point, I'm speaking to the Argonaut and Steel Crusader, was to send my navy with a large portion of my fleet send my navy with my entire strong army up to kill Alondgarlan and Yolande, take some settlements in western Gondor. As you are also aware, this failed due to sheer blind luck. Because, as you will see in the next video of this series, Steel and the Argonaut managed to recruit a ship right on top of my navy, which was so annoying. And of course, since I only have long ships and they have Palaran and Alcarondas, sorry, not Palaran and Alcarondas, Ayarsul and Alcarondas, yes, my navy was defeated and sank, which is problematic. But that is for the next video. In this video, my tactics are simple. Expand and kill that debt. I'm willing to lose as many units as it takes to get rid of this debt. That is, of the Haradrim units, because they're rubbish. It doesn't matter to me whether they die or not. All that matters to me is that they take a lot with them. Tal al-Jaf and Estala are good starting locations for this, because Tal al-Jaf is actually quite good at making money, and more importantly, they are quite good settlements as well for trade. They're not just building moneymakers or mine moneymakers, they're good for trade as well, and that is so vital as Harad, because you really don't get a lot of, well, anything. Granted, your troops are cheap, but cheap means not a jot until you have an economy to base them off. As I most definitely do not at this stage. At this point in the battle, I was a little bit concerned that their towers would be able to burn my ram, which would cause me to lose. I cannot afford to have that happen for the pure and simple reason of I just don't have the time to take another 10,000 gold deficit. Thankfully, with the mines being constructed in Finabel, I was able to get back into the positive fairly soon, as you will see later in the video. I will also increase the speed on this playback if I can figure out how to do so, because it is going to be a long battle. I cannot actually do this. That's a pity. So we'll just have to sit here for the whole battle, or, you know what, I will skip through to an exciting bit now. We are back, and the action is actually commencing now. We've broken down the gate, and we are winning the battle quite handily, because we managed to slaughter some of their archers. But we're still being pushed into the... It's just a mass of spears and pikes as well there, which is what wins this battle for me. Those pikemen deserve a massive medal for this. They deserve their weight in gold. Of course, if I had their weight in gold, we wouldn't be in this mess. But that is a thing for another time. As I was just letting Kozima march slowly over here with his cavalry, he is still perfectly fresh and deadly. And I'm just waiting for the correct time to trigger the Red Wrath abilities that both of these generals have. Because Red Wrath is such a useful ability. And there we're going to just shut down the last of those archers. Southron archers are actually pretty tough in melee, which is why I am trying to stop them from shooting, because at least in melee, they are less damaging. They're tough in melee, at least for Haradrim spearmen, but they are useless in melee compared to any other unit, and they're far more deadly at range. We've also managed to take out a nice amount of the cavalry that the independent realms here have. And once again, I will skip through a section of the battle to get to a more action-packed bit, where Kozima is riding around the back. As you can see, we're slowly winning the battle here. Our percentages are about 60% killed to 30% at this stage, I think. I'm entirely unsure of that, but yeah, just using cavalry in settlements is never a good idea because there's nothing they can do. Those Black Snake Guard over there are absolutely butchering my infantry. They're just butchering everything because they're so strong. They are incredibly good units, and my units are incredibly weak in this battle. The pikemen would make short work of them. But this has the problem of the pikemen are needed to deal with the rest of the infantry and archers by keeping them at range so they don't deal any damage in return. I could also bring Kozima down to help, but that would take time. And as you can see, that Kozima himself is getting in the thick of things. He's quite bloodied already. And I'm a little bit concerned I'm going to lose him, but he has a fair amount of hit points, so now's not the time to pull him out, but it will be very quickly. You can tell that he is the king because of his more golden colour scheme. I will skip forward now to the end of the battle, which I should really have done in the recording this, to be perfectly honest. But alas. Yeah, we're winning this battle quite handily. Just got to wait for the software to catch up. There we go. And all it took to defeat the rest of the Independent Realms Black Serpent Guard was me bringing in the Hashari Shadows and eventually my own Black Snake Guard. Because Hashari Shadows have a respectable melee attack and respectable defense. Not great in either, but pretty good. The Black Snake Guard over there have just finished massacring everything else. And I'm debating charging them into the Southron Warband, but I decided it's actually better to do a charge against the Black Snake Guard. Just to get rid of them fast. In this battle, I do believe the pikemen get the most kills, as they should. They are pikemen, and they are truly deadly. Kozima has ranked up a fair few XP points. And Utbar has done very little with his bodyguard. But now that we have charged in everybody, the battle is effectively over, and all I have to do is wait for it to be so. For we have killed all of their units, save a couple. There we go. End the battle. We lost 500 to their 900, which is quite good. Most kills, indeed, to the Southron Pikemen, followed by the Haradrim Spearmen, actually, which is surprising. Then Hashari Shadows, the other Haradrim Spearman unit, and the Black Snake Guard. The Haradrim Archers did terribly. But at least we no longer have to pay for their upkeep, which is always a plus. However, I am quite conscious of the fact that I'm running through my infantry faster than I like, and this army is now almost entirely composed of archers, which is highly problematic. In loading back to the campaign screen, I am considering what to do with that army now, and I decided that the best course of action is to send it to assist Musab, I think is commanding the army that is at Estala, because that is the place that I really do need to take. And now we're only losing 300. I've merged up my units to minimise casualties, not casualties, to minimise upkeep there. And I'm now debating who to leave in Tal al-Jaf for the meantime. Queuing up those buildings is not a bad decision, but it's also not the best decision. It'll take me a long time to be able to afford them. But the only real choice is to put instead Serpent Lord Kuzaimar in the settlement. And where am I going to send the army to? I actually decided to send it to... Interesting, I thought I put it in... Okay, I must have sent it to the fort, because that is where that army is now. The army didn't rout, it was entirely destroyed. Serpent Lord Kuzaimar did a very good job. He is actually my best general. He can command 16 units. I think Musab can command the next highest amount. Yeah, I queue up a lot of buildings here, and then I will remove them from the queue very rapidly because I can't afford them, and it's better to just bide my time. And I do desperately need to get as many forts as I can so that I can store as many of my units as possible in free upkeep. What else do I have to do this turn? Turn 6. I believe it is just to move my spy and my diplomat. As you can probably guess by my plan at this point, I'm scouting around the area I plan to land at. And oh look, there's a certain Swan Knight, who you no doubt know the plan of from Steel Crusader's first video, but Istion and his squires are going up to cause havoc for Isengard. Of course, I immediately notify AFG about this. As you can see there from me taking a screenshot. And I will hunt down Istion on the next turn to see what exactly he is doing. There we just ran into Halthanur, which nobody has taken at this point, which I must admit surprised me. Then we come to turn 7. We're still losing money, but it's not as bad as it was. We're no longer losing thousands every turn. And I am indeed going to send Utbah along to join the Siege of Estala, which I've been making so much devastation of in this time that it's unfortunate, really. Interesting, Kuzaimar lost an experience point when his unit regenerated. I didn't know that could happen. I have a fairly formidable army there. Granted, it is made up of half trash, But the other half of that army is strong, at least for this stage in the game. Musab can command 12 units, which is very good. It's not the best, but it isn't bad. And then you see Zagarakor, the diplomat of the Haradrim of Sorogumund. This turn I don't really have much to do on, except move my diplomat north, and I noticed that Mordor has taken Ostithil, which is very nice. And I'm considering asking for some money here, but I decide not to because White Wolf is already bankrupt. The balance at the start of this game is completely shot. There's no denying that. It's heavily weighted in favour of the good factions, because most of the evil factions start with one region, if that. And those we do start with have terrible armies, whereas Gondor has, 15 regions to start with? Ah, well, the game is not over yet, and I'm not willing to sacrifice it just because it's not going our way at this point. Because the good factions, despite their power and size, are very large. And that means they can't have troops everywhere. But yeah, that's a relatively large rebel stack just sitting on the crossing there. Thankfully, it is not in my region, so I am perfectly willing to let it be for now. Well, I say willing to let it be. I'm not willing to let it be at all. It is simply having to stay there because I cannot yet kill it. We've queued up some buildings in Tal al-Jaf and in Finabel. And now I'm probably just waiting for the turn to end. Well, not to end. There we go, turn 8. We auto-resolved at Estala. Yes, I did stack generals there. I apologise for that. But it's against the AI, so I really don't care. And what we're now doing is selecting the best and strongest units, or apparently the weakest ones. I don't know why I'm selecting the weakest ones. Oh, right, we're selecting those so that we can actually do something with the settlement, of course. Mission success, and we got a unit of Sutheron Warband, which is brilliant. Those guys are by far the best unit I can train at this stage in terms of survivability. And now we get the army ready. There is a unit there that I'm going to switch out for the simple reason of I can't afford to leave it there, which is the Sutheron Warband. And I'm going to switch it out with the other Sutheron Warband unit. We're actually making money now, but that's going to change next turn. Because I'm going to move out Karim and his units of Sutheron, which is another 1,000 in upkeep. It's so painful. But it must be done. Anyway, I'm getting the army ready to embark with all its glory. General stacking is allowed when on navies, because you can't separate them, really, and it's not like they can attack anything on the navy. I'm just debating how much money they cost. 460 for one unit, and the others are 200 something. It's over 1,000. It's horrible. But it is what has to be done for my plan to function. I have no choice. if we try and fight a war of attrition against the forces of good, we will lose. We simply cannot do it. They can outproduce us because we have so few settlements. Their units are better than us and they can outproduce us. It does not bode well. But we will do the best we can to survive this. Giving up is not an option. Indeed, giving up is not something we can do. Interesting, the total culture in that settlement is 101%. Curious. Yeah, I'm just seeing who I've visited at the moment, and I need to get that diplomat to Isengard, which is where he's travelling to. But yeah, there's a lot of just not doing much in this turn, so I'll skip it a bit. Interesting. Did I double the footage? Oh my, I doubled the footage. Oh, I did what Sir Orgamond did in his first episode. Can't believe it. Fool me. Right, but this is a new turn now, turn 8. Is it? Oh, I don't know. Can't believe I did that. How on earth did I manage to double it? Right. There we go. We're actually on a new turn now. Did I double it or did I get it in the wrong order? Oh well, it is not important how it happened, but it did. And now we've just got this horrible mess of troops around here. And there we go. We're putting everything on the boat. To Gondor. The sun will never rise again. This is a bad decision, doing this, moving my pikemen in such a fashion. But it's not the worst decision I could have made. Because I'm now realising that it does not take 3 turns to sail there when you have an army on your boats. It takes a lot more than that, and I promised aid at the moment the truce broke on turn 11. And I can't get there on turn 11. So, basically, I'm in trouble. If I hadn't taken Estala, I would have been able to get there on time, and maybe things would have go differently. Although that is really something for the next episode, not this one. But we are making money, albeit slowly. And that is the important thing. I will never be able to increase the settlement level in Finabel, but Estala I will, and in Amrun also. Amrun? Tal al-Jaf also. I'll be able to increase it in Tal al-Jaf twice, which is very nice. There's another fort there, which I will definitely snag at some point. Haven't done it yet, and we're on turn 18 now in the actual run through. But yeah, most of this is just me doing very little of importance. Ah, a new general. This one will be the governor of Estala. But began in Tal al-Jaf. And he's a very, very good governor, Umair. I shouldn't have done that. I should have sent Kuzaimar to Finabel. At this point, I am considering very much taking my navy and just taking Gobel Mielond. It's a city, so it'll be a good region to take. But it wouldn't be fair on Sir Orgemund to block his expansion in such a manner. I noticed that the Argonaut has not constructed any more buildings in Londgarlen. So I'm considering a different target, but that is very, very much a matter for next time. I could not tell you now, even if I wanted to, and I don't. Getting a governor in Astala is a very useful thing. It's very, very valuable, the settlement. Or will be eventually. But more valuable, very much, is Amrun. And I will take that eventually. I have not yet. I've just spotted Leofric the Bowed. The only Nazgul that works. Which is a pity, but we're working around it. We're almost to the end of the second set of turns now. This video will go up on Monday the 3rd of August. And we will get the third episode up at a certain point in the future. I can't tell you when that will be, because I do not know when we will hit the 25th turn, and therefore be able to get the 11th to 15th turns on YouTube. But this is pretty much all I can do. And therefore, it is pretty much the end of the episode. Umar is making a lot of money in Tal al-Jaf. I really would like to get that mining network. It's so valuable. Because we've got the gold, the silver, and the iron all in the region. I'm just realising what would have been a better choice of action. Which would have been to send Kuzaimar to Finabel. And to send Arbazan to Estala. But that concludes the second episode of the Hotseat campaign. I hope you did enjoy it, and with sound this time as well, which is brilliant. Anyway, Commander Sol, over.